Hey everybody, Bill Murphy here with MMORPG.com, and I am really sorry that it's been probably about 3 weeks since our last MMOFTW. Things have been pretty hectic in the Murphy household for reasons I won't go into here, but everybody's fine, everybody's okay, just a lot of stuff going on with family. But we're back. We've got another episode here with some news to throw at you, so why don't we get right to it. First up is some news for Bless Online, which is due to have a press event on May 11th, which we have been invited to. Our own Steven Weber is attending for us, so you'll see some video and hopefully some good writing stuff out of there in just a week or so. But this week they showcased a lot of the classes and the new combat system, which is sort of like an action hybrid combat system, similar to what you might be used to from something like maybe Guild Wars 2 or Elder Scrolls Online. It's kind of like that. And we also got a video showcasing the Paladin's party play. The Paladin will be the only real healer class that's in the early access launch, because the Mystic is not going to be in for early access. The Mystic will come later towards the official launch later in 2018. So check out the video there and be sure to head over to the site to get more information. And speaking of games, I'm sorry, that was like the worst segue ever, but speaking of games, a new war mode was detailed for the World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth expansion pack. Basically, the war mode, or whatever they're calling it, is sort of the new open world toggleable PvP experience that's going to be coming with the expansion. Game designer Phalanx posted some brief facts about the 4 different aspects of war mode, including the brand new bounty hunting feature. So during war mode, players will have honor talents enabled as they do when entering instance PvP. Once war mode is toggled by the player in a capital city, honor talents become active and remain so for the entire time the player is flagged for PvP. And during that PvP combat, they'll actually be able to go out in the world and attack other players and fight for their faction and everything like that, just like they would on an open PvP server. Gear will be scaled to a roughly equivalent level between the combatants. Now, if a player's gear is better than the opponent, they will still have a slight advantage, but a reasonable one. Now, players will earn conquest during world PvP, a nice addition to the pool of activities where conquest can be earned. And the more opponents a player kills during war mode, the more likely they will be to find themselves with a bounty on their head. Now, once a bounty is placed, an announcement will be broadcast to all opposing faction players in the zone, and the player with a bounty on them will be marked on the map. Hopefully, you'll be getting rewards and stuff like that for taking out people with a bounty. I think that's a pretty cool way to do the new open world PvP part of World of Warcraft, and hopefully it'll make things a little more interesting on PvP servers, as it were, now. And speaking of war, the Funcom Conan Exiles quasi-MMO is coming out on May 8th for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. That's right, it's already been on early access now for a little over a year, but it's officially launching with a whole bunch of new content and new systems and stuff like that on May 8th. And they announced what the 3 servers will be at launch. There's going to be full-on PvP servers, where player versus player combat is possible at all times, but building damage will be limited to prime time between 5 and 11 p.m. local server time. PvE, only creatures and NPCs can harm players on PvE servers. Thralls will not attack players, and players cannot attack and kill thralls. And then the interesting one is PvE conflict. On a PvE conflict server, you can only damage other players during prime time, so 5 to 11 p.m. on that server's time zone, and building damage is turned off at all times. These servers will first only be available on the PC, and they may get rolled out later for PS4 and Xbox servers if people like them. I think that's actually a really cool way to do it. If you're kind of into PvP, but you don't really want to jump whole hog into it, you don't want to lose all of your equipment and your progress building and stuff like that, I think the PvE conflict ones sound kind of interesting. So all servers will have a 1x harvesting, XP gain, and crafting times. Everything else, you know, if you want to speed up crafting gain and XP and all that other stuff, you can do it on your own server. So the fast type servers will not be there at launch. So yeah, look out for Conan Exiles on May 8th. It'll be an interesting, probably the best, I would call it, Ark-like game out there. It's definitely come a long way since early access. You'll probably want to check it out, and stay tuned to MMORPG for our official review. Now, going to a lighter side of things, Maplestory 2 is finally coming west with a closed beta May 8th, I think. May 8th, May 9th? Yeah, very, very soon. May 9th, I think. You can sign up now for the closed beta on the Maplestory 2 website. We'll actually have our own guy in there to play it, and hopefully be able to stream it and write about it and tell everybody about it. Now, Maplestory 2 is actually like a 2/3 overhead view Minecraft-looking style of buildings and stuff like that, but the characters are very Maplestory-esque. It's interesting. It's looking really cool. I've seen some people streaming the other betas or the other live versions, I guess, from Korea, and it actually looks really fun as like a lighthearted, grinding sort of action MMORPG, just like Maplestory 1 always was, only now it's kind of in quasi 3D. So keep an eye out for that one. That should have more information for you and should see some video popping up on MMORPG later this week. And last but not least, I had one more for you and I accidentally didn't have it. There we go. Elder Scrolls Online has showcased the Psijic Order. I think that's Psijic. I think that's how you're pronouncing it now, because I think the video does too. That's coming with the Somerset expansion or Somerset chapter, which launches for PC on May 21st and June 5th for consoles. The Psijic Order, instead of getting a full class this time with the expansion, you get just a brand new skill line. And it's an active and passive skill line. It's not like some of the other skill lines like Dark Brotherhood and stuff like that, which is mostly passive. This one actually has a bunch of new unique abilities. Like there's one that's very Tracer-esque, like Tracer from Overwatch, where you can rewind time and go back to where you were in the world just a few seconds before, including getting back all the mana and health and stamina that you had before. It's a really cool skill. It's been fun to play with on the public test server, and you can watch this whole video that sort of gives you a bit of the lore about the Psijic Order and why it's important to Somerset and why it's important to the expansion. I mean, it's the first time, I think, ever that we've actually visited the home of the Psijic, which is Artaeum, I think it's called. So pretty cool stuff. And we'll learn more about that May 21st when the game launches. Yeah, whole new expansion, a bunch of new content, bunch of new dungeons, bunch of new delves, jewelry crafting, all that good stuff. So stay tuned to our website for the review of that one as well. And that's going to do it for this week, folks. I promise, I hope, I hopefully promise that we won't go another 3 weeks without another MMOFTW, but just in case we do, just remember, don't let a bad pug get you down.